your required. You've got 60 minutes, guys. So, same thing. Read through all of your requireds. Look at what each question is out of. Work out how much time you've got for that question. Analyze what is expected of you so that you start with the questions you're most comfortable with. Okay, question 1. Discuss the further actions. So further means additional to what's already been done, which you as the auditor should take with regards to management's going concern assessment. So there has been work done. What other work do you need to do with regards to their assessment and their refusal to provide the auditors with access to information about their business rescue plan and proceedings? Okay, so what additional work do we need to do with regards to their going concern assessment, and because they have refused to give us information about their business rescue plan? Okay, so this is your going concern. ISA 570 will help us with what do we need to do because they have done a going concern assessment and we've done some work on that. What else do we need to do? And what else do we need to do because we cannot get access to their business rescue plan? Okay, for 8 marks, so I want to give 8 points, 8 actions as a result of what I've done, and I've got 12 minutes here. Okay, if I'm not sure what to do, I know there's a standard dedicated to going concern, so I need to go there to help me. Question 2, calculate final materiality, 5 marks, so nice and simple. I need to follow my process in order to calculate materiality. I need to determine which figures, which annual figures am I going to use. I've got the current year, I've got the prior year. I justify that. I need to determine my benchmark based on the information in the scenario. I then need to apply my percentages to the benchmark to get my range. And then I need to conclude on an amount based on the risks. 5 marks, 5 points. I need to get 5 steps documented, or 5 points in those steps documented. And I've got 7.5 minutes here. You should all get those marks. Question 3, discuss your considerations and your response. So consideration, so what is my thinking here? Positive and negative. And my response, what is the action I'm going to take as a result of this? Individually and in aggregate for audit findings 1 and 2. So I need to look at audit finding 1 on its own. I need to look at audit finding 2 on its own. And then I need to aggregate the 2 and discuss. Okay, individually and then in aggregate for audit findings 1 and 2. Assume final materiality is set at 3 to 5. Okay, so now I can see here, oh, what are the considerations? I'm going to have to potentially determine if there is a misstatement. And if there is, I'm going to have to consider if there is a material misstatement. Is it material? I've got quantitative and I've got qualitative. I need to see if it's pervasive, if there's a disagreement with management. I need to see, is it factual, judgmental, or projected? And if there is, I need to request adjustment. If it isn't, I need to, so I'm going to say here, optional, request an adjustment or take it to the schedule of unadjusted if it's not material. And then, guys, because they said for response individually and in aggregate, individually I would then need to say, if they don't adjust, what is my opinion? That's for one finding. Then I do that for two findings. And then I need to go in aggregate. If they don't adjust, either as required, this is my opinion. If in aggregate neither of them are material, when I aggregate, is there a material misstatement? And then what would my opinion be? Okay, so 25 marks, guys, initially looks quite daunting, but when you consider, they want your considerations. What do you feel? What do you understand? What are your thinkings? Because you have looked at audit findings 1 and 2. And ultimately, are you now finding misstatements or not? I look at each of them, and that's generally about 7 marks. And then I need to look at in aggregate. What does that add here? Another potential 7 marks. I still haven't quite got to the 25, so there must be something else there. What else could there be? Maybe there's a reportable irregularity. Adding to what my considerations are and my responses. Okay, 25 points needed here. And I've got 37.5 minutes. I've used a few minutes to do this analysis. So I need to consider how much time I've taken and then take some time off each of these to account for that time used. As well as considering that over here, I had 3 minutes that I don't actually account for. Okay, so take the 3 minutes off the time I've used and then split that remaining time I've used by taking it off the questions that I need to do. Okay, so guys, we're going to start with question 1.